the
Hey,
YouTube.
I'll probably only be here maybe 30 minutes or so.
Well, we're not going to be here much longer than 30 minutes.
All right.
Yeah. But I thought it would be important to do these things for people, and I'm guessing that they'll be able to see them. I'm gonna go look on my this tablet thing I got and bring it up here. But essentially, I'm going to give the same disclaimer I always give to people. Like, I'm not an attorney. I don't have a license to practice law. I do not practice law. And what I do is study law. I tell people what I learn, how I gather the information. I don't give information as advice to apply to a specific case, but it's general information regarding the law and lawful principles, which, by the way, belong to the people. So I would suggest that everybody use any information obtained from here for educational edification only. And the reason I say that is because I want nothing I say to be construed to be legal advice. And if anybody needs legal advice, I would highly encourage to hire a license and hope for them to hire a license and hopefully competent attorney and be legally advised. And with that being noted, I say nothing disparaging about attorneys, although this particular segment is not about what we do with me as GD NAPSC, but more so about what we do just in helping people with their day-to-day lives. So with that being said, because I do have Jimmy here, but Rick, just because you're here, and it's always important I like to turn people over to professionals. Tell everybody what your unique set of skills are and how you can help people out in the area of the child support.
Yes. Yes. Hello, everybody. Rick Robinson. I'm an accountant. I have an accounting degree and a master's degree in accounting. And just from a child support standpoint, the way that I can potentially help is analyzing your case, understanding if information that went into the child support calculator was correct. Typically, it's not correct. So therefore, of course, this correlates to thousands of dollars over time. So just doing an analysis to understand if the information that went into the calculator was correct is essentially where I can help you, and then help build up a case as to why your numbers might not have been correct, and just showing different exhibits as to why they were incorrect. So that's a big way that I can help people.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And we'll figure out ways. If you all want to get in touch with Rick, who I think is a very beneficial to people, and it kind of goes along with what we're talking about, Josh. And I think that what sometimes people don't pay attention to is that you can uh, get relief that could be life changing when it comes to what if your issue happens to be child support. We're going to talk about misinformation for most of this episode, but as Rick said, these calculations can amount to thousands of dollars of benefit, and I'm pretty sure that relief, or even getting you some other kind of relief, and Rick can help you with other things as far as your taxes and for those who have to pay taxes and also getting your finances managed. These things are important. And I like, again, to turn things over to people who are professionals in their areas. The only thing I'm professional at being is me. Okay. So, I don't consider myself a guru or whatever. I'm just a person who had a story and I tell my story. And hopefully my story can help other people. That being said, Josh, go back and reset what you said in the beginning, because this is the part for the people on YouTube who may tune in.
Okay, yeah, but anyway, my name is Joshua Wesley, and I'm from Florida, and I'm in the ministry, and I'm also into trust law. And so, but to give you pretty much a brief description and a brief background, I came to I met Greg. I was dealing with some of these sovereign citizen gurus on YouTube, all of them, you know, even the ones that have been making videos and stuff, you know. But it kind of shocked me. I was actually appalled because I couldn't believe that, you know what I'm saying, people out here making videos, and the same people who making the videos is the same people who sent me the sovereign citizen stuff and got me jammed up in court. So, it's all good. It is what it is. But since I've been working with Greg, I have came to a better understanding, a more clearer understanding of the law, of procedure, uh, of the merits, et cetera, et cetera. You know, And that right there helps a lot, man. I tell you, anybody out here on YouTube, man. And also, I'm also a testimony for one person on YouTube, and it's actually was a sham testimony. I can get down to the basics. I can break all that down in another video or another later date or whatever. But I was still a little upset about that. But you know, I try to let it try to be more bigger than that and move on. But I'm just concerned about the people who out here who don't know and get caught up in the trap. I just hope that you do your real due diligence before dealing with these guys, man, because these guys are scam artists. But since I've been dealing with Greg, I've been able to learn and been able to analyze and articulate what's been going on in my case. I have never been able to do that before, so I definitely thank Greg for that. Ain't no doubt about that. And just a whole bunch of the nuances and helping me along the way of the process. And right now I'm in the fifth DCA, and I'll be done here pretty soon. But still, I wouldn't even got this far if it wasn't for the brother. So I thank him and his insider knowledge. So I thank him. So I turn it back over to you guys, man.
Johnny, you had to unmute yourself. I think you have to. Hey, Rick, how do you unmute yourself? You got to hit the button or something on there when I tell
Yeah,
you to
yeah,
unmute.
just hit the mute button.
Okay, yeah, because he's sitting in there. I don't know if he's busy or whatever he is. He can send me a text or a chat. And, you know, despite what may be an abrasive outward exterior, which I really am like this. I When I started doing this stuff, and we've been breaking it down, Josh, especially as I understood what your background was a little bit more like Jimmy. I came into this less inspired to try to make money or capitalize on the information, but I wanted to see people win. And Rick would know this because Rick knew about me before I even started doing it this way. But and I ended up going through quite a bit along the way, and it started with it kind of started with child support, and it worked its way into other stuff like the driving without license cases. Which, by the way, I don't recommend anybody do anything that's going to put your personal safety in jeopardy or whatever it is that you use to take care of your family. I don't suggest anybody try to go through the things that I went through. I was just blessed to have enough wherewithal and in the circumstances allowed me and afforded me an opportunity to navigate through the difficulties. And that's why I'm so transparent. And eventually, I want to get Will Crowley on to have him um, talk about what he helped inspire me to do, which is to show people my journey. And because he showed me his, and I'm like, hey, that's how you help people, not by giving these fantastical stories that nobody tries to verify. Because I can say I'm Superman until I jump off the building and drop at 32 feet per second. And that's what I see a lot of people either saying, hey, I'm sure you can fly, and they push you off the roof and you drop to the ground. And we're trying to bring an end to this kind of stuff. Um, Jimmy, can you unmute Jimmy? Or are you busy? Let me send this to the message because if he's on the phone, he just has to hit what the once I tell him to unmute. Oh, there you go. What's going on, Johnny?
How you doing?
And, I'm disgruntled with the world, but other than that, I'm all right. Tell everybody who you are and how you got to this place where we're starting to do this thing, this show, time to build up, not tear down, the truth about misinformation in our community.
Um, yeah, Jimmy, also known as Jeremy, definitely online mostly, social media. I got to this place, I think about 15 years ago, plus something like that. My path and Greg path crossed through. I was on some of the similar things that I heard Joshua saying that was his path. I really had embraced it. Um, Filing different documents, just all the way in there, hook, line, and sinker. Authenticating birth certificates. Just really thought the package that I was working with was what it was, and, and now I hadn't did my due diligence on my homework, and didn't really realize I was on the path as a crash dummy. Um, until I started getting into the courtroom and even going up against stuff in the court. But uh, I was on a show, won't say the name of it because Greg know, and they brought him on, and actually they were not this private and public if you want to use those. They said that what they did was the private sector though that I was thinking that I was embarking on, and they brought Greg on the show and said he was doing the public side of things. So, but what was interesting and caught me was that Greg put out audio. I heard the audio, didn't know who he was, but I heard the audio, and he was in court, and I knew that he was self-representing, um, pro se, and I listened and I heard the case getting dismissed. He didn't have an attorney, and did it by himself, and then just his presentation and just the way that you all see that he is, if you come across him now, same person then, and his mannerism, his delivery. So I was like, man, I need to see what's going on with this guy because the people that I was dealing with were just telling me what to do, but nobody really had shown me any proof or anything like that he did. And once I did that, I sat that stuff that I was working down, and I'm thankful I did because I probably would be locked up somewhere. And I started going in that direction uh, to seek remedy that I needed for the stuff that I was dealing with. And that's kind of how me and Greg paths crossed. And since over the 15 years, it's the same stuff. It's like a domino effect. I've been on so many calls with him uh, and seen a repeat of this stuff. And it's heartening. I remember he put me on the phone with this young lady, and she had kids and stuff. And sometimes he would try to get me on to kind of tell them like, "Hey, can you let them know that you've been on this crash dummy course?" And I can hear how they talking when I get on. And a lot of times you don't know that you got yourself in harm's way because it's the way that I don't know. It seems like the microwave stuff that they say if it's too true, seem too true to believe, it probably is. What most time what people saying, especially if you ain't go a person that go do your own research and look into it, reference and you know. So I know how it is to be in that seat.
Right. And the thing is, I wouldn't have thought when we met years ago, and let me put this out here also. I tend to stay away from saying names when people aren't here to defend themselves. If they want to come in and defend themselves, fine. I have no problem with transparency. Just say we try to let it remain respectful. And I've always been that way. That's just been my nature. But lately, uh, this misinformation has put people in a precarious situations, and I it frustrates me because my biggest difficulty is when I'm trying to assist people, because I first tell you go get you an attorney, but just in life in general, whatever it is, and it may my background as a social scientist, because my academic background, political science, is based on what's empirical or what you can actually prove, or what has been known to be proven, or a well regarded or established standard. But when people are just repeating things that are talking points, it's like a parrot. Parrot can't have constructive thought. The parrot can only mimic. And today, surprisingly, many years later, more people are mimicking than explaining anything. Or they're using like what's the 3 card Monte or the shell game when they're talking to the masses, and the masses are just like using John Mee's phrase, falling for this stuff hook, line, and sinker. And unfortunately, so many of them are sinking. So uh, when I've had these conversations for years, and the people have told me, hey, Greg, I have an obligation to a degree to call this stuff out for what it is. And I don't know if it's my obligation, but I do know that I've been blessed with some unique experiences and some unique skills, because some of this stuff I don't know why I know it or how I came to know it, but I do know I was guided on my journey, which is why I think having Josh and John Me here, especially John Me, because he's had plenty of discussions with me. I know Rev is at Bible study right now, but there's a spiritual path, no matter what your um, religious, non-religious, agnostic preferences. There is something that guided me to doing this. The same for the same reason something guides me to never quit this, despite how often I've said I'm wanting to quit doing this. As far as help, I'm not helping people, but um, just walking away from what is a frustrating thing for me. So you guys have to go ahead and unmute again. But if you all have a comment, please hop in and comment so I don't have to carry this show or this segment by myself. Because I think what you all have to offer in your
Yeah,
respective
you
areas.
yeah, definitely, brother. You are, like I say, man, I thank God for you, man. If it wasn't for you, man, I'll still be on the sovereign citizen thing, man. And that right there alone, is enough to you free me from that. And I thank you, brother. You know what I'm saying? I thank you because that
Well,
stuff does not
don't
work.
exalt me because I'm not the one to do it. I may just be a vessel that may have been useful.
Right.
But Rick, when you first came to this, where you weren't on that other, what we don't want to necessarily discuss, uh, kind of stuff, right? You were just on because having an academic background probably changed the way. I mean, probably helped govern the way you approached it, right, Rick?
Yeah, I think so. If- is it another Rick on the line?
No, it's you, Rick.
Oh,
Con,
okay. Um, yeah, I think, one, yeah, my educational background, and then two, me just being just so involved in my case. And I never went down the sovereign citizen route. But of course, there were just a plethora of things that I've also learned from you, Greg, just, with the approach and how to do it. And, one of your comments are you got to go in to win. And just dealing with court and the system, judges, and honestly, the way that I feel personally is like, yes, you walk in there, they're kind of against you, they think you're a deadbeat, but once you get in and you articulate the facts, state the law, cite the law, all of those things help you to hopefully prevail in your case. And you're going to have a challenge going in no matter what. But as you say, you got to go in to win.
oh, absolutely. Well, I haven't seen anybody win um without going in. I've heard these stories are very old to people like myself and Jimmy. And again, we met through a set of fortuitous events. Is how I came in contact with Jimmy at a conference, and we have since grown a lot closer. And even when Rick, when I was going through my thing with the houses, and I'll say his name, former Judge Gregory Holder, Jami, who was really close to me, did not know, and I wouldn't even tell him what I was going through because I was determined to fight this situation. Plus, I wasn't going to plea out to something that I know I didn't do. But Jimmy, you can tell him uh, more of how that all went about.
With the Judge Holder.
Just with the walk that you've seen, our walk and everything else, and the people that you had brought up, the number of people that we've talked to, that we had to pull back from the brink of self-destruction to help them.
Yeah, it's we lost count because I mean it's because it's been that many phone calls that continually came through with different people with the same situation, and it seemed like most of the times a lot of those people would be in what Josh was saying, you be involved in certain groups, and then you find out, as he did at some point, that it wasn't what you thought it was, or once you get into a certain situation that they start out telling you to do this, and then you don't have that guidance, you're not able to reach them, but yet you're still now moving into this situation where you're facing, and I think that's where a lot of the calls end up coming to you because they done got themselves in a position it's like they about to get checkmated, but on the wrong path, with disinformation, as you kind of mentioned earlier. So it's so many of those calls that I was on, that's just kind of disheartening. And then also, like you were saying, it's so much of the same stuff that's out there now where people are, uh, it's you have a like you could tell when somebody got experience in something. You should. And a lot of it's stupid that's walking in,
Breaking up a little
and
bit,
it's
Jimmy.
more of
I don't know where you
market.
are. You're breaking up a little bit.
I'm breaking up.
Yeah,
Hear me better now?
a little
Oh, it's
bit.
the same.
Okay, well. let's get you to where the people can hear you, because I think it's important what you're saying about because you were probably further into the information than I was when we met, which is why I would like, you to make sure that you're clear when you're talking to these people about this stuff.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better?
Oh, much better now. Oh yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So, I think from what I see now, a lot of like the experience that people have, the experienced people, they're few far in between, and it's more of unexperienced. And I feel like people have become good at marketing. They've been good at scripting. They've been good at creating content and putting information out as if you would think that they've completed and they got a championship in that area, right? This how they print themselves. This how they market themselves. This how they push their videos. So what I found out is a lot of people that know how to put bait out there and hook you. And then once they got you on the bait, now you really just become opportunity for them to push their package, and that package gonna come with a certain ticket on it. Not knowing a lot of times the person on the other side, you're facing some serious stuff, or they do know it, or wherever they just don't care. They just gonna do what they do. Scam you, be a wolf in sheep's clothing, appear as a angel of light, but you really darkness, deception, evil, and so they don't care about if you if where they're leading you at. It's like sheep being led to the slaughter, and it's going to get you in an incarcerated position. They don't care that you're a family person, you got children, you got loved ones, you got things that you worked for and built up all over these years, and then so they just see you as a next lick. You're a come up, and so they and then and not you don't know that. So I feel bad because whatever position I'm in ignorantly, and then what you do, you start telling your friends. And I think this is why a lot of them become popular because it become like a domino effect. So if you're in a place of harm, and intentionally you think you're in a place of awareness and you come across something that's good, most time we start sharing it. And if you're a popular person and you got a lot of friends, the next thing you know, all of those same people are following what you said, but you didn't check it fully through first. Unfortunately, that's how it happens, and this is how I think these guys stay popular over time because you'll say, "How if people having an outcome that Josh had after the fact, and many of myself and several others," and you say, "How do these guys stay relevant? How do they begin this, and how has the wrong thing become more popular than the actual truth? It's like a lie
Yeah.
became the truth, and the truth become a lie."
Yeah.
You have something to say about that too, Rick? Because I'm confused. I know I don't market well. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and like brother saying, I mean, I agree with what he's saying, and I think what's really key, which a lot of people don't do, is you got to kind of read for yourself and understand um, for yourself the law and different things. And Greg, I know you mentioned this too. You basically say, don't take your word for it. Read it. Read the law.
Yeah, absolutely.
Review it.
Yeah.
What it
'Cause
pretty
I
much
can't go in
is,
with you anyway. I can't go in with you anyway.
what it pretty much is see these guys, they understand the algorithm. And they're using words like win your case, beat, just certain words and certain phrases that's not even true. And child support is fraud. There's a whole bunch of words
Yes,
that
word.
a person that's like, and really they really getting the uneducated. That's who they really targeting. I'm not gonna lie to you because the educated person, and once they do their own research, they're gonna find out that that's not right. But they just
Yep.
pretty much targeting the uneducated, the undermined or the whatever. And people who don't want to study and read for themselves, because once you start studying, that's why I thank Greg, man, because Greg teaches us to, you know, read and study for yourself, and
Yep.
that's powerful, bro. I mean, that's anybody, because like everything I had got from these guys, I got a package that was saying I'm not the man, a whole list of stuff. I sent everything to Greg. Greg done seen everything. I'm not the man, and I'm not the name, and all that type of stuff. These people, that does not work. That stuff does not work at all, man. and you're gonna dig yourself into actually a situation that you can't get out of. But my thing is, if you actually listen to these guys' testimonies, you will see none of their testimonies actually prove nothing that they're saying. Their testimonies be because somebody might have not have showed up for court, or somebody might have came and adopted the child, or some other, some of that nature. They don't have no real testimony, and I never seen anybody go in and do anything on the merits except Greg. I didn't even, man, I've been dealing with this stuff for about 20 years, and I didn't even know nothing about the merits until I met Greg, and I done paid everybody. So, you know, I actually thank the brother, man. He real he teaches you, to do for yourself, man, to learn for yourself, because at the end of the day, he can't go in there for nobody. You have to go in there and fight this thing for yourself. And he is the tool that can help you understand what you need to understand. But the only thing is, you got other people out here that's actually ripping people off and really taking people money, and the people that's really helping, that I just it's a sad situation, brother. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. It's a real sad situation out here. That the real help is buried down at the bottom, and everybody who all the scammers on top. But one thing, like I told Brother Greg, one thing I know for sure, and everybody else knows, the cream will rise to the top. So he gonna rise. Ain't no doubt about that, though. You know what I'm saying? He already risen, he already rose, but I'm just saying, even higher into other dimensions and the other levels and other things, endeavors in life. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's rare. You know what I'm saying? And like Brother Jami said, man, that's a good brother too, man. I learned a lot from that brother. Very intelligent brother. Very smart brother. These are some good guys, man. This is a really, really good learning, good guys to learn from. I mean, all of them have experience. All of them, Rick has experience in counting, and I mean, it's a whole. I mean, you have everything you need. Everything you need right here. I
Well,
mean,
hold on. What they need is, I'm going to say this: nothing is me. I don't want. I'm not going to get into the. I don't even sound like I'm pastoral. But what I have was given to me for a reason. I do recognize that. It ain't me. I just may be a conduit or the nexus to the information. It's never going to be about money. And candidly, I'll just say it here. I do offer services. They do have costs, but really, it would make more sense to me. And I see JC on here. I see Mike. Uh, it would make as much sense to me for everybody to just do the membership and go through. How many classes did we do, Rick? What, 50
Quite
or
a few.
60? Come on, the information is there, and somebody had a situation that's going to be like most people's situation. And got my man Macadamia hopping on, who you are. He's always interesting, and I think I wish I had Bailey on here who could tell us how to make people who are on your phone, so that I can see if you want to join the conversation. You had to hit the action button. I think you had to do something to the screen, and I'll see your hand, and I'll know how to let you in to the discussion. Uh, to to tap the speak button don't work. How to unmute? So let me see. And by the way, for those who are in the Zoom, you all have my okay, there you go, JC. JC, tell us how to do what you just did where I can see your hand.
If you're on a phone, you kind of just got to tap the screen, and at the bottom you'll see mute, start video, chat, more, and leave. You hit more, and then it'll have raise your hand.
Yeah, I appreciate that, JC. How are you doing? Appreciate you joining. We're trying to get rid of the misinformation in the community, and I don't want to be exalted because I just think I had a story and I just told my story. I'm the consequence of repetition in the courtrooms. I'm also the beneficiary of people who had experiences that share those experiences with me, and I try to share them with you all. But JC, we've done about 50 shows, right? Total.
Yeah, man, I was locked in. I went missing because I started, once I learned that it was so much stuff that I started tackling on my own. But man, I had success in this field. I got split custody of both my younger kids. All my child support is terminated out. I'm going back to try to clear the arrears now that I understand the difference in like personal jurisdiction and subject matter jurisdiction. So I'm getting ready to go back and tackle that. But yeah, I definitely understand that feeling like a lot of those guys at the top is just because I'm trying to get in the field now. I done started like a little child support victory consultant thing. I'm out here helping parents with this same information that Greg gave me. And it's a lot of stuff I give out for free. And I just, man, it's been game changer for me, bro. Like to be able to actually fight back. And I still have my little battles with child support. I got court um in the next few weeks or so for some things, but it just hit different when you know the rules. You understand, like, okay, if this hearing officer going here with this bull crap, I ain't finna go ahead and argue with him. I'm gonna stand on my proper objections, and I'm gonna move to vacate that order. I know I got 15 days. I know I got to get the transcript. So it's like, man, what you showed us is real. And I see a lot of fugazi. It's not even that it's fugazi. It's just a lot of these guys is at the top. They're just selling one angle. You can terminate child support. You can terminate child support. You can terminate child support. Not understanding that the merits matter. A lot of these guys that terminated child support, one of the biggest dudes, and I ain't here to shout out names and give no bad ill
Don't
will.
do that.
And I'm
Don't
not,
do
I'm not, I'm not Greg,
that.
but I'ma say his situation, because I done bought books. I done paid for stuff from people until I ran into Greg, and it's like, merits matter. Your situation, what state you were in, your rules may have been completely different than what this person is going through. So you selling your story as the end all be all, saying what child support is and what it ain't. No, it was just that in your situation. It was fraudulent in your situation. A lot of these guys have already passed that window to go back and terminate it because you've came to court and argued other things. So man, these guys out here selling that. Oh, special appearance, special appearance. Yeah, it may have worked in some of y'all situation because the merits lined up to make that happen. But everybody's situation ain't that. You got to learn the laws and the rules in your state. You got to go do your own due diligence, and that's one of the biggest things I learned from you, Greg. And that's what I've been locked in on. So when I seen you was going up, I'm like, man, let me jump on here and see what bro talking about. I know I've been doing my own thing, but yeah, I definitely. I'm all in on understanding it, man. A lot of these guys are just selling one angle. They're not kind of keeping it real. They're just about the money. And don't get me wrong, I help. I mean, I've been helping parents, and I've been getting compensated for it. But I still give out.
And people should well, 'cause I got a couple of the guys that want to hop on, and I appreciate you giving your testimony. People should. I'm gonna be honest. I never had this as an intention. I candidly, when I first started, I know most people could not afford to pay me what I was worth anyway, based upon just how the market works. I know what I was billed out at working with a law firm. And but my thing is, I think you could get so much further if people just put in the effort and the time to learn this. Because you don't want something to happen to the mouthpiece and then everybody else falters and falls down. Mike, what's going on, Mike?
What
Massage Mike, I see you there. What's good, bro?
what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, what's going on, fellas? Appreciate the invite, man. I just wanted to chime in with what Big Bro was saying a minute ago about every situation being different, merits of the case, and these packet boys we call them. That shit boiled down to psychology, Big Bro. Everybody been conditioned to think it's a 1, 2, 3, click this button, click that button, and it's all done. This shit's a complicated process that really, even if the rules were followed, how can I say it? I'd rather talk about the corruption of these motherfuckers that just refuse to do their job. You know my situation, boss man. They don't want to do the job. They're gonna just kind of keep kicking your paperwork out. No explanations, no nothing. I'm not getting the good results out of my case. They won't even respond to me. We don't put them on their heels, fellas. Just to say that the rules put these folks on their heels, but they ain't messed with me in almost 2 months since my last contempt hearing. I ain't got no warrant. I ain't got no. They came after my license. They did the little standard suspend my medical license, whatnot. But other than that, man, I'm doing something right, all from Greg's teaching. So while these dudes out here selling pipe dreams and pulling the bait and switch tactic, that's a really old tactic. Hell, you see your government doing it every day. They'll tell us something, we buy into it, get this revolutionary mind frame around it, and that's what we get high off of. These cats out here just getting high. Greg, you know I call it intellectual jack off. They want to tell how these inspirational stories, because men, fathers, women, they've been beat down by this child support in their own way. So anytime they hear revolution or some kind of get back, they want it, they sign up. But when you get right into it and see that you're gonna have to do something, they want to stick with the TJs and they want to stick with the Armin Osiris that just sound good. It just sound good. It don't do nothing
No
but give
name,
them.
no name, no name. But yes,
My bad, fellas. Shit, that's my bad.
back, no problem. Just keep going.
But that's all I want to chime in and say. It's a psychological defect with we the people. We really think somebody coming to save us. These cats know that's inside of us. Whether it's a preacher man, your local politician, everybody knows the desperate nature inside of a human. It ain't winning in life. So when they keep making these videos and just taking advantage of guys' depression, girls too, that shit just got to be stopped, bro. And if you the voice, let it be. But we, as his apostles, we as Greg's disciples and students, we got to do a little better. You know what I mean? Making sure we know this shit. Respect to my OG that say he helping people now. I got the same inspiration, but I know I'm years from that. But man, we just got to stick together as a real community. I ain't saying it's possible, and I'm not saying it's impossible. But we as a people don't talk because everybody's situation is it's so much better than worse than someone else's. But if we all realize we're in the same boat and it's just a different rule or a different merit, we can come together and have circles and think tanks and brainstorms on how to get these corrupt officials to do what they're supposed to do. And that's all I want to say. If it makes sense, great. If it don't, appreciate everybody's patience to listen. But this shit come down to more than just the rules and how to apply them, because these folks don't do their job. In the buildings that we send in my documents ain't getting answered. I don't know much about statutes or when to do things if it doesn't have a specific deadline on it. But I got paperwork in for 2
Sometimes we
months
just have
that
to follow up. Sometimes we just have to follow up, and I appreciate you for hopping in. I see Macadamia there. I'll come back to you in a second. M-Dub. Macadamia, what's going on, man? Hey,
Going on, Greg?
you know me, hating everything, but still making it through. What's good?
I don't know how you do that. I hate the world, especially with all this court debauchery going on. So I hear what everyone else is saying, and I appreciate you, giving a real message. And like they said, issues are different for each individual. And yeah, there's no one catch-all solution to child support or any legal issue. You need to know the facts of your case. You need to know the controlling rule, and then how to articulate that properly, and state a claim, or defense, or whatever it is. That's criminal or civil. And I've told you this before, but you are so much different compared to the other package boys. Is you put your hearings on YouTube. You show that, like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, you got to show up and show out, and then you also are in the appeals, in the appellate courts, because sometimes, like these guys are saying, the trial courts might not follow the law, but you have remedy in the higher courts, and it takes a different type of individual to take it to the higher courts, and know the law to be able to get that relief in the higher courts. So that's what I loved about watching your YouTubes, and I love seeing about you is you don't just talk the talk, you walk the walk.
Well, I think I appreciate that, but I think if I say this, if I don't do it, nobody's gonna do it for me. I don't expect anybody to do it for me. And I don't know if I put this on this one or not, but listen, if I was willing to take a bullet for people I don't know, and I understood what the oath was about, I'm definitely gonna fight for me. You know, I don't know how anybody would think I would not be willing to fight and die for my own cause. I hope it never comes down to that necessarily, but again, for those who don't know, and it was said, I'm not going to say the name. I am I'm a service connected Army discharged American veteran, and there's a lot that goes along with it. But being fighting to me is like the first law. They say the first law of nature is survival. So it's natural for me, but I do understand that there's nuance to everything. And I tell everybody that the other part of this stuff is if you're not intellectually nimble, you're probably going to struggle inside of these courtrooms, these proceedings. So it's best that you understand your case. Even if you, and again, I always recommend you get an attorney, but if with an attorney, you want to be the best possible client you can be. Uh, so that you can help further whatever it is that your issue may or may not be. Josh, you wanted to say something before we
Oh no,
wrap it up?
that's all right. Man, all them brothers actually put it. That was well put, brother. I mean, every last one of the brothers just put that. They took words right out of my mouth and subconscious mind. So
Well, all
they
of
did
you
a
all are
good
part of the same set of stuff that people who might want to join the membership can
go
just
through.
watch all that information, because we've covered so many different situations in those classes, and you're talking about hundreds of hours of information that is there. And I think it would be beneficial. And plus, it's cheaper than calling me, to do your study in that way. Although, you can get your breakdown and all that other kind of stuff. And I wouldn't say I'm adverse to helping or assisting through consultations, which are not for legal advice, but to kind of give people a basic understanding. I work with the school system as well. I used to tutor as well. So all I am is a source for hopeful resolution for people. And when you get a guy like Rick, and Rick, do me a favor, make sure you send me your information so that we can start giving these guys your information, because I believe, and it's about to be tax time. Rick, is there anything you want to provide for these guys that they need to know as it's getting closer to tax time? And also, the insurance stuff is about to change for a lot of people too, right, Rick?
Yeah, those are some great points. So of course we're in a new year. Happy New Year to everybody. As it does relate to insurance, a lot of companies, insurance policies that kind of change. And if you are covering your child for insurance, that's just a major, major credit that you can get as it relates to child support. And then too, if you're going through cases, you want to be just cautious and make sure you understand all of your personal finances. And of course, you have to typically give, mandatory disclosure about your finances. And as you do your numbers, whatever you're putting down on paper that, could later be used against you, could help you, however you're looking at it. So just make sure, number one, you know your numbers. And then two, timing is real key and critical, because let's say your FY25 numbers might happen to be a little lower. That may be something where you want to kind of delay completing your taxes, for the next year, because a lot of times courts will ask you for your tax returns, and a lot of times too they'll look at the last 2 years. So right now they would be asking for 23 and 24 taxes, because technically 25 taxes are not due until April 15th. So just some stuff to consider. And if your numbers may happen to be a little lower in 2025, you might want to go ahead and start working on your taxes and get those filed right away before April 15th, such that that may just be a benefit to you as you show some financial data.
Okay, I had to bring you on, and whenever you get a chance, and we can do one of these things where I believe you and Miss Bennell, people were asking about you two, with regard to the services that you two provide, because she's in the insurance area, and I think that these things are important. I'm blessed to not have some of the issues that other people have, when it comes to that, but I do believe everybody should have universal. I believe the country should have universal life and healthcare, but they don't. But I think these are things that are important because of the tax benefits for children and what have you. And also as it relates to child support, prepaid taxes, prepaid insurance is a deduction for child support, at least in some states. I am aware, definitely in Florida. So, and these things actually matter, uh, down the road, and also possibly could matter for as to what they didn't properly calculate, um, in your original, when giving out the original order. And these things are typically procedural errors.
And probably too, one other comment. So for those that do have back child support, just know that they can take your tax return. So as you do your taxes, that's just also some things to consider. So of course, if you have a large return, that money would just be, garnished and taken before you ever see it. And there's some tax strategies, that I could kind of walk you through as far as, trying to get a larger return at the end of the year, or getting your money throughout the year based upon how you set up your taxable income throughout a year. So, I can help just provide some advice on that as well.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. So hey, listen, man, give everybody a chance as we get out of here. Let me see. John, you have anything you want to add as we get out of here on our first episode? You got to unmute
Nah,
there, yeah.
I'm here. Nah, I just
What's good?
appreciate everybody chiming in and a lot of good insight and sharing. So I would like to see more of like this type of stuff because this everyone come from different backgrounds, and everybody different insight and awareness is always helpful for the whole collective. So um, just appreciate that.
Oh, we're gonna try to do a little bit more, bring you and Josh and the more the spiritual aspect of this right here, because I think people need to have something that you believe in, whether it's whether you want to say God, uh, Allah, Buddha. I don't care if it's a can of paint or a bucket of chicken. You better have you some sort of spiritual foundation, because you're gonna need something or something that you believe in, even if it's yourself. You want to have it for any kind of trial or tribulation. It'll get you a lot farther. That being said, I appreciate you all for joining. I forgot the name of this doggone thing, this episode. But sometimes it's about killing the misinformation in the community. And it's time to build up and not tear down. And we're gonna do other things along the way. Rick, I want to definitely get with you so that we can hopefully somebody's looking for your info inside the chat room. Hey, reach out to me at the Fox 228-224. Email me at gdnapsc, or you can call me at 813-570-9617, and I will send you his information. So yeah, but as always, imparting people, sometimes it's not about right or wrong. More importantly, it's about clarity. You never reach a resolution if you're not willing to engage in honest dialogue, even if that dialogue is with yourself. Take time to hug the person you love and love the person you hug. On behalf of GD Non-Attorney Pro Se Consultants, I'm Greg Dawes, the infamous DJ Squid. Tonight, Wednesday, January 7th at 9 o'clock, I'll be doing my second part of what's really going on my episode of that 1 in 10,000. So check it out. I'll be talking more about this situation with Greg Holder and this fake, I won't say fake, he's an attorney, but an attorney who did not file proper paperwork. We'll get into a little bit more and you all understand it. Don't forget also, tomorrow, Thursday, January 8th at 9:30, or sometime near about, I will be at the Tampa City Council to tell them to their faces what I say about their asses on these on my YouTube channel.